It's been an honor working with you.
You taking some personal time?
No. I'm actually on my way to court-ordered rehab. I know that there is no way that you will ever be able to forgive me. But I intend to make amends to each and every one of you.
So we have 3 very strong contenders. It is my pleasure to announce that the 3rd place winner in the primetime drama category is Grey's Anatomy, How Insensitive. Here to accept the award is Bill Harper, co-producer of Grey's Anatomy. Bill?
Congratulations.
On behalf of Shonda Rhimes and all of the writers of Grey's Anatomy, thank you so much for this really terrific honor. Our show is one that has that rare opportunity to reach a lot of people with a lot of information and education about medical issues and health issues, and we consider that one of the biggest privileges of our job and a responsibility that we don't take lightly. So I'd like to thank Hollywood Health and Society, not just for this recognition and this award, but for being such a valuable partner and such a terrific resource to us in order to tell those stories correctly and clearly. And we really appreciate it. We really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Okay, and next I'd like to announce the 2nd place winner, and the 2nd place prize goes to Law & Order SVU for the excellent episode Hammered. Here to accept the award is Dawn Danoon. Congratulations. Thank you. Let's see.
I want to thank Hollywood Health and Society. They put me in touch with experts and helped me wrap my head around the subject matter. And I had a very eloquent speech written, but I need to take the time to thank Norman Lear. I think I'll cry if I even have to tell you what an inspiration you were to me. Seriously, I'm bowled over by this. I think All in the Family is my earliest memory, and it inspired me to become a writer, and I think it inspired me to become a better person, so thank you.
And finally, the 2010 Sentinel for Health Awards 1st place winner in primetime drama goes to Army Wives for Claudia Joy's Diabetes. And here to accept the award is Karen Mazer, producer of Army Wives. Karen?
Congratulations.
Heavy. Dawn, can I have your elegant speech, please? On behalf of Army Wives, its writers and producers and crew and the cast, especially Kim Delaney, who plays Claudia Joy Holden, who is our general's wife, would like to thank Hollywood Health and Society for this wonderful award. And it's a great honor to be recognized alongside all these other wonderful and deserving programs, so thank you. I read that, probably in your literature, that nearly 90% of Americans get their health information from television, which is pretty amazing. So with that power, writers really have to be responsible, and we have to make sure that the information that we do give out is timely and accurate. And with the help of Hollywood Health and Society, Army Wives was able to do that. And a special shout out to Kathy Lee, wherever she is, for helping us, for fighting. Yes. She's always there when I want to email or call. She's always there to answer with resources and materials and give us access to experts at the CDC who helped us with the development of this storyline, story arc, which really started early and went through a lot of episodes that you saw there, but continued in this season also that just ended. as writers, as Sandra said, our job is to entertain and come up with interesting and storylines and tell interesting stories, compelling stories, hopefully. But if at the same time that we can educate and inform viewers and maybe help motivate them to make safer and healthier choices in their life, well, then that's the reward in itself. So thank you again to Hollywood Health and Society for this special award. Thank you.
We are so grateful that you all do what you do, and what I'd now like to do is to invite awardees to come up. We're going to have a brief panel discussion and talk about what went on behind the scenes, what the issues and problems were, and how it came to be that these shows got made the way they were. So I think you see your names. Please join us. Where's Michelle? Michelle? You're not off the hook.
Yeah.
So often these storylines come to be not because they fell out of the sky, but there was a reason. Someone said something happened to someone, something was part of your own story or a story of somebody you knew. And so I'm just curious, in any of these cases, what did that happen? What was the origin that led to what we saw? And anyone feel free to take this.
Well, I'll start.
Great.
Well, our storyline about a young girl that's schizophrenic, there was a very big publicity, a little girl who was on Oprah, who was being seen at UCLA for schizophrenia, and there was just shock and dismay that this disease could be present in such a young child. And Steve Blackman, whose parents are both psychiatrists, was really passionate about this cause and this little girl. I mean, you could not watch this without being heartbroken, not only for the child, but also the parents. It put incredible strain on their marriage about how to take care of this child. They actually lived separately because they were afraid the child would attack their other child that was of normal mental health. And so we wanted to do something not just about the child, but also about when parents are split on how to deal with the child. And so and then it was about placing it in the right episode with a theme that worked. So that was, we sort of watched it jump around and it landed, and Steve was very pleased to be able to write it because it had originated with his passion for the cause, but also the Oprah thing tied in because then we could see it. When we could see the story, we could see that little girl, we felt moved to take it all the way to fruition. So it was, media begets media. So it was like the awareness of that helped us do that. And of course, there's a great controversy around giving children antipsychotic medications, which is something we really needed to include in the storyline as well.
Great, thank you.
Well, our program, When Families Grieve, which is the special about the death of a parent, started actually 3 years ago when the president of Sesame Workshop read an article in the New York Times about a family that was being evicted from their home because the father had been deployed in the military. He was a reservist, and the family couldn't pay their mortgage. And Gary came charging into the office and said, "This is an outrage. We have to do something." And it turned out there were 700,000 children under the age of 5 in the United States who have one or both parents deployed in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the largest number since the Second World War. And so that spawned a series of programs, first about the stress on the family of deployment, and then homecoming, which is also very stressful. If a parent's been away for a year or more, and they expect everything to be as it was when they left, and it's not. And then we dealt with injuries, coming home with injuries, and then finally the Department of Defense said to us, it's been incredibly gratifying how the military families have been helped by this work, and they said, we need you to do one about the death of a parent. And honestly, with Kevin Clash, who plays Elmo, and Chrissy Ferraro, the writer, and our education people, we sat around in a room saying, can we do this? Who's going to watch a television program about the death of a parent of a little child, and how is Elmo going to be able to handle that? And in fact, the first draft of the script that we sent to PBS, they said, what, you created a cousin just to kill the parent off? That's right. This is not Sesame Street material. But in the end, it was, believe it or not, it was the military that insisted we deal with suicide, which was the other piece that was just like, really, we really can't do this. And to see how we do screenings all over the country as well as the television broadcast, and to see how, great big, we did a screening for the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Pentagon, actually, and all of them came with their wives. And these guys cried. It was a moment of acknowledging, whatever your politics are, that these young people are putting their lives on the line. And this is a resource now that will exist for anyone who finds himself in this situation, like Katie Couric did when her husband died. So sometimes reading the newspaper can be a dangerous undertaking.
Michelle, where did folic acid come from?
I think it's because you guys made me do it. No, just kidding.
Good.
We've worked really close, like I said, for many years. And folic acid, it was something that was important. And we make it a point to do important topics for Hispanics. There are different health issues for Hispanics, and folic acid in pregnancy was identified. And I'm still proud to say that El Cartel Dos, even though it was produced by Caracol, is still on our air. It's on Telemundo. So we were able to get both. And Jeanette Delgado, who also works with us, and she was fantastic on helping the writers. And our writers are just so open, and they knocked it out. So we were very excited.
And Dawn and Christine, there were 2 SVU episodes. You spoke briefly about Neil saying he wanted to do that, but maybe you can tell why he did that. Why he said that you should do a story like this.
He had been working with John Prendergast with the Enough Project on, they have so many things going on. It wasn't regarding that, but he knew about it. I think John had sent him a package. So he called me in the office and said, are you aware of what's happening in the Congo? And it sort of came from there. And I had seen the play Ruined earlier that year, or I probably wouldn't have known certainly as much as I came to learn. And it is shocking how much is not reported in in the news, and you really have to dig to find this information. And it's the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II. And I could go on. I could tell you the whole 2 months of research, but.
So it's both what is in the news and not in the news.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyone over here want to add a background story of how it came to be?
Well, I'm not precisely sure where the idea came from, but I know how it got to me, and that was Shonda simply turned to me and said, I think a 700-pound patient should come to the hospital. But when she said it, the phrase that immediately leapt to my head was something I had read somewhere, which was obesity is society's last acceptable prejudice, that it's the last condition that we're allowed to joke about. And we'd already been talking in the writer's room around another episode about putting our doctors in a patient sensitivity course because some of them could use it more than others. And so we'd been discussing that, and it seemed like the perfect marriage for